Hey, what up you guys? So this is Hey Mitch, and I'm doing my movie review on the movie The Joker.
Can you introduce me as Joker?
Let's get into it.
Hey, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? Send in the clown.
Okay, so first off, right off the bat, I had zero intentions to watching this movie. Like watching the trailers, having it coming out, it was not something that I was interested to watch, you know? Like I'm not really invested in the Joker character. There was nothing that to me personally brought out from the trailers that made me want to watch it, right? There was like an element, like I don't know if this was going to be a horror aspect of a take on it, and again I didn't know if this was going to go into like a purge aspect, which I got a lot of impressions from the trailers, like just like full on anarchy. And to me the purge is, I like and don't like the purge. The parts that I like about the purge is like the social commentary of it, but the parts I don't like, that I found really disturbing and really off-putting, is when they treat murder as like a ritualistic religious manner, as if it was their version of a Eucharist, and as a hella Catholic I found that very disturbing. But again, going to in this movie, like there was nothing, the walking phoenix, all the trailers, all the laughing, all the makeup, there was nothing interesting that I found into this movie, which goes into why did I watch this movie? So I started seeing people say like, hey, go watch the movie, they liked it. Like I saw Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers saying he thought it was amazing, almost near masterpiece. Tim Pool put out a video on the critic score and his take on the movie, that how he truly liked it. I didn't see his full video before watching the movie because I didn't want to get spoiled with anything. But one thing that he mentioned, and I'll talk later, is that there's something about cultural, social commentary in 2019 that is relevant in this movie that is interesting, right? That's a point of talking, right? And again, that's the part that made me, okay, now it's in my wheelhouse. Now I kind of need to see it just so that I can talk about it, because I like talking about like what's going on in current events. And so I'll put that aside, right? Okay, so again, like I said, like this movie was not in my wheelhouse. Watching the movie now, right? And this is going to be spoilers, so light spoilers, but yeah, but definitely spoilers. Watching the movie now, I got what I expected. So again, it's just not my cup of tea, right? So I kind of watched this out of obligation just because everyone was said to watch it. But it is, so I'll just go with good points, right? So let's start off with good points. Walking Phoenix is amazing in this movie. I think this movie was done very well. It's just not what I normally eat, right? But in itself, I can judge the movie and in itself and how the storyline moves along and how Joaquin Phoenix as his version of Joker is great, right? And I think this version of Joker is better than Jared Leto's, but my favorite Joker is still Heath Ledger's Joker. There's something about that Joker I found fascinating, because there's fan theories and movie theories that that particular Joker is someone who is in special operations or intelligence or CIA, that because he knew about like interrogation tactics and psychological factors and how to construct weaponry and bombs and all that stuff. And so they're talking about that person probably had military experience, right? So I find that very interesting in how developing that particular genre or that particular alliteration of Joker, right? But this Joker is definitely someone who is mentally ill and near psychopathic, right? And just leading into and creating that Joker, right? And so within the scope of this movie, I think it was done very well. And so therefore I can agree with Tim and Jeremy and other reviewers that this movie was done very good, right? But it's just not something that I wouldn't want to rewatch. Like I'm cool to seeing it, like I'm good that I saw it, but I'm not gonna watch it again, right? So it's weird that I'm probably gonna recommend this if this is something that you want to watch, but it's a very acquired taste, I guess, right? So again, like what I said, Joaquin Phoenix did an amazing job. It was very uncomfortable he did a very good job to make me uncomfortable in my seat watching this character develop, right? So again, it did its job, right? I just don't like this movie in that form, right? Because there's a level of there's a level of nihilism that I hate. Like, I watch movies to be inspired. I watch movies to build my thought processes on building myself and building my world around me, and I hate when I watch things that is takes jabs at the human condition and be like, whatever, there's no point, there's like, and full like near almost anarchy. But it goes, so which goes into the next point, which is actually good and bad, I guess. And Tim Pool has mentioned it. So the social commentary of this movie, right? And it's very leftist, right? And on point without even thinking about it. Like, Tim Pool mentioned it in his video, and I'll link it below, and I'll probably put screens around me or whatever and cut into that thing about what he was mentioning. But there is a line in the movie, and Tim Pool mentioned this too, there's a line in the movie that you can tell, like, the Jokers that, not the Joker, right? But the Jokers in the movie is essentially Antifa, right? And there's a speech that Thomas Wayne puts out, like he was doing a press conference or whatever, and he's talking about how these individuals who are dressing up as clowns are envious and are hiding behind masks, and he's essentially by verbatim talking about Antifa without mentioning Antifa. And I think that's kind of hilarious. Actually, that's the funniest part of the movie, that he's talking about Antifa without talking about Antifa. I don't know if that's the purpose, but definitely it is a reflection, or it is a commentary on our social and current events, right? And so I think that is really on point, right?
And I'm going to give you a light spoiler right now, so warning for those who don't want to hear it. This is not necessarily a big major point of the plot. It is a light theme. Joker supporters are Antifa. So I tweeted about this because I didn't think it was a big deal. Some people got upset and said, "How dare you, Tim?" But I'm like, you'd realize this if you watched the trailers in depth. This was brought up by I believe it was Film Theory on YouTube, where they mention that the people in the trailers are holding up signs about wealth inequality, and the way they're dressed and the things they're doing. It's Antifa. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I will say this: there is no direct statement that they are, but it is a fact. Okay, so it's like at no point does someone in the film say that's Antifa. It's not that like that. But there is something that happens at one point, if you catch it, where you'll be like, whoa, like that's Antifa. So you have to really know this. If you're somebody who follows politics, when you watch this movie, you'll notice. You'll definitely notice. Just don't go to the bathroom or whatever. There's a light thing that happens, and I saw that and I was like, wow. So this is why I think the critics are so angry. This is why I think they're turning on it, because it's not an incel. It's not. This is I don't want to spoil too much, but I can tell you that a major motivation is a very, very left-wing position. It's a very, very left-wing position. So let me just stress, this is a guy with a mental illness that we know from the trailers. That's not a spoiler or anything. It's a guy with mental illness, and something happens that's in line with complaints from the left that causes him to just spiral downward.
So again, I think other people are going to be talking about this how this movie reflects what I was saying about Antifa, because in the movie, and I wish there was clips of it that I can show, but like they have signs that like we're the clowns, and like Thomas Wayne equals fascist, and then it just speaks in reflection in a mirror fashion of how people and how Antifa is in 2019. And so in regards to the movie and how it plays into the greater DCU, essentially, I think this movie is a standalone within a standalone, essentially being that not only is it a standalone movie, right, but it's a standalone because I don't think this movie plays into the greater DCU, right? I think they're just using the Joker name as far as a marketing perspective. Like this is the original thing, and I think the screenwriters in it have said that, and this breakdown kind of like breaks down, and I'll link this video behind me below, but essentially this is the original story, and this is not like the real Joker, essentially, which is fine. But I think the thing that makes it kind of interesting is that they kind of needed to do this. I thought they could have just made a whole new movie and call it another Jester and had those same aspects. But what the movie actually does is actually kind of cool. Because kind of like how the Christopher Nolan movies, that there's a aspect that anyone could be Batman, you know, by the end of the movie, like anyone could take up the cowl and become Batman. I think this movie kind of plays on that. Anyone could be the Joker. And by the end of the movie, that is true, right? And I think it leads into other Jokers, right? Into like the real mainline Joker in the DCU. But this is just one alliteration of the Joker type thing. But more so, I think it needed to play on the canvas of the Gotham City. So like, without making an original story, without like a total blank canvas, like they needed to use Gotham because we have imageries of Gotham being corrupt, being very dangerous and everything, and it uses that canvas to give an imagery in our mind of the setting to build this Joker, right? Likewise, they use the Thomas Wayne character as part of the canvas to we already know just through like cursory knowledge, Thomas Wayne was like a philanthropist. He was trying to make the city better, Gotham City better, and everything. We know he was like a shining light in this dark city, right? And so that builds those two aspects, having a bad setting of what is Gotham and a light just reflects into the creating the Joker character. Because if you were to do that with any person, if you were to say in a dystopian future and then this is stuff, you don't really have an attachment to what that setting is. But now that you introduce these characters, which is a city and a person that you know is Bruce Wayne's father, then you have an idea what the setting is in this movie. So I think they did a good job of using those elements to build this character, essentially this original Joker character. And that's, I guess, another aspect that I did like, or at least looking into this movie and how it is relevant and how it's used, right? So yeah. Overall, like I said, this is not my cup of tea, but in itself, this movie was really good, right? And I think there's an acquired taste for people out there. And then if you're into like social commentary movies or movies that have to deal with social commentary, I think this is pretty relevant to 2019 and going into 2020. So in that aspect, yeah, go see it. So yeah, again, this is not my movie that I wanted to watch, but I kind of wanted to watch it just to see what everyone was talking about. And I think that's gonna how it plays out with everyone else, and people are probably going to watch the movie just for that very reason, right? Because the news and media and critics are saying that this is an incel movie, right? Involuntary celibate. And so people are probably going to go to why the critics are talking bad, much like how they said Dave Chappelle was really horrible, right? In his special, and then obviously like people had a great time with that his special, right? So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is not my cup of tea, but I like where the certain aspects of the movie. I'm not gonna watch it again, but I did like those aspects of the movie that I can talk about, right? And so yeah, that kind of wraps it up. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I already hit my 100, so I'm building up to my next goal, probably 250 within the next 6 months. You can also check out my other reviews here on my channel. And I also talk about entertainment, culture, and purpose in my channel, so definitely check those other videos out. I'm probably going to dedicate a particular channel just for movie, TV reviews as such into another name. But until that time, help me build my main channel here. You can also follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitchMitch, and you can follow my joint channel at It's Mandatory Fun, where I do other videos with my friend Jen. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you. 'Cause I've seen it now, you truly should.